Okay, so switching up into more of our sports section. Quick one though, what's the difference between Liverpool's Premier League trophy and the Ghost? I guess people have actually seen the Ghost this year. Okay, so
Oh,
still on Liverpool though, finishing fifth in the Premier League. A very wimpy performance in terms of the previous league champions because we have a new champion in town and all that. So what are we saying about what are we saying about Liverpool though? In terms of their title defense, anything you want to add to that? I think it's been horrific.
yo, like this is basically I think they set the manual on how not to defend your title,
I'm
right? But
telling you, bro.
I think they just took a page from United after Fergie left, to be fair. But yeah, they finished fifth, still qualified for Champions League. So I mean, all in all, it was not an absurdly bad season. But in terms of title defenses, like you pointed out rightfully, I don't think they did it any justice. They didn't put up a fight at all, and I think they were out of the running for it by like December, right? So, given how much they spent again, right? People thought they were about to go on a run on at least, probably they didn't do back to back. If they didn't win it back to back, probably put on a difficult title challenge, right? But I think they just whimpered off. I think the injuries to Isak and the big money signings like Vert, they've not worked out as people expected. So Salah leaving as well, him not having the same output as the previous season where they won it, it showed that how reliant Liverpool is on a player like Salah, right? So devastating title defense, and yeah, long may it continue that the Scousers are suffering. So yeah, I'm not even complaining at all.
Absolutely, my G. I'm more than happy to see Liverpool, where they are currently. I was even hoping they don't qualify for the Champions League, but I guess they found a way to squeeze themselves into that conversation.
Yep.
And to your point about them being totally reliant on Mo Salah, I have to agree with that 100%. If you want to look at how they performed in their title winning season, where they, peeped Arsenal and Man City, man, Salah was playing like a man possessed. Every game is either a Salah goal or Salah
I'll see.
assist. So, them not seeing that same level of performance, I guess they had it coming. And it's
Yep.
still quite disappointing because after winning the Premier League at a canter, then you spent close to £500 million on top quality signings, man. And I
Exactly.
can't even talk about Isak being injured because he signed Ekitike and we're talking
Ooh.
80, £90 million.
Exactly.
So I think it was very disappointing for Slot. And I think this more tells us more about Anslot less than Liverpool
Mm.
because part of the conversation last year was about how Slot basically came in and won the league using Jurgen Klopp's team. And to
Mm-hmm.
be honest, the way this season has gone, I think that sort of validates that point and
I
backs up the
agree.
people that
I
had
agree.
that opinion in terms of we're not really gonna know Slot till he builds his own team. And now
Mm-hmm.
he's built his own team, and all we've seen is a fall off from Liverpool. And I'm
Exactly.
hoping, this fall off continues into next season and it's not just a one off. So switching on from Liverpool, let's go quickly into Manchester United.
Mm.
Bruno Fernandes has broken the assist record.
Bruno, Bruno,
I,
Bruno,
I'm sort
Bruno.
of hurt, man, because that was a record held by my boy TT and KDB. But now Bruno Fernandes has broken it with 21 assists. I'm just gonna throw this into
Hey.
you. How does it feel though in terms of Bruno becoming a record maker, a record breaker rather?
21. Can you do
Do
something for
something for
me?
me.
Yeah, big ups to Bruno. I think I touched on it in one of our episodes, right? Like
Yeah,
uh like you said, Henri, KDB, they have the Premier League winning legacies to their name in the Premier League, right?
yeah.
And it sucks that Bruno never got to play for a Premier League winning team, knock on wood, right? That can still change. But I'm saying as of right now, I think this is one of the best ways for him to like live a lasting imprint in the league where we can know that there was a player like Bruno Fernandes that played in the Premier League. 21 assists, I think it's not a small feat at all. The title has existed for a long time, and him coming and breaking it in the season where United did not really start on the strong foot just shows how creative he is. And big ups to him. I think he's been very deserving of it. He's been a very loyal and integral part of the United team as a whole. So I couldn't be happier for any player than Bruno Fernandes right now. Yep.
Yeah, still speaking on Bruno Fernandes though, in addition to breaking the assist record,
Mm.
he's won the Football Writers Player of the Year. I do think some Arsenal players got robbed in that note because if it was me, I'll probably have given that to Declan Rice or David Raya. But at the same time, I have to agree it's not just about the team that wins the Premier League. It's more about the player that had the most impact on his team. I have to say props to Bruno Fernandes. You know, he's done a good job in making sure Man U are back to the big time, talking the Champions League.
Mm.
So I want to see how this affects Manchester United in the long run in terms of how do they perform next season. So I
Mm.
guess we have to wait a couple months to find out.
Yep.
So switching from Manchester United, let's quickly touch on our favorite banter club, Chelsea Football Club.
Dead
More blues
guys.
for Chelsea. So if Chelsea eventually finished 10th, I guess that's exactly where
Back
they
where they
belong.
belong. This is Chelsea before the Abramovich and
Exactly,
petrodollars. So
before the
this is
big
how I
sugar
know.
daddy money.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're back to where they belong, 10th position. I did predict they were going to finish below mid-table, but I guess they just managed to find their way into 10th. And, well, the good thing is they have no European football next season, no Champions League, no Europa League, no Europa Conference League, so they can't even go there and bully the small boys and come out singing they won a trophy. So, more blues for Chelsea, and may they wallow in pity and suffering for the rest of eternity. So just let's quickly touch
Yeah.
upon our favorite big boys, Bournemouth. Shout out to Junior Kropi, that banger that ended Manchester City's title hopes. I'm going to be
Yeah,
watching
still
that for the rest of
bombers,
the week.
bro.
Bro, serious banger, man. And just still on Junior Kropi, though. I'm hoping Arsenal go get that boy into the carpet because that would be a good replacement number 9 in terms of getting rid of Gabi Jesus and giving us Junior Kropi as a replacement for us to,
I'm gonna
just
leave it to you
19.
because you just won the leagues. I'll let you pop your shit off. I'll just leave
Bruh,
it
I'm
to you.
talking
Pop
my
your
shit,
shit.
man.
Like it's okay.
So,
Pop your
still on
shit.
Bournemouth though, they're into the Europa League. I think that's the first time they're actually in Europe as a football club.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that
Yeah,
that's the information I have. So I think Iraola has done an excellent job getting
I
Bournemouth
agree.
to Europe, and
Mm-hmm.
it would have been nice for him to actually stay and
Lead
enjoy the
them
fruits of his
right.
labor.
I agree.
But
I agree.
I guess he knows best, and he knows why he chose to leave Bournemouth.
To
Maybe he
leave
has
them
something better in his
planned out.
future. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see. I'm going to throw this to you, though. So Villa back in the Champions League,
Mm.
also got the European trophy. Do you want to quickly touch upon Aston Villa's performance this
Yeah.
season?
Yeah, I think Unai Emery has found like another club that fits his personality and his skill set. I would say I have always said that Unai Emery is a big fish in a small pond type of coach, right? Whenever
King
he
of
tries to
meat.
make this, when he tries to, yeah, exactly, he's the king of mid, right? When he tries to take the step to the next level, it always blows up in his face. We could see it with his stint at PSG and his
Yeah,
stint at Arsenal. Although at Arsenal, it wasn't as backed as at Arteta, but that's a story
he
for another
was,
day.
my G. He was. He broke a record, Nicolas Pepe.
Just one signing, but yeah, but the overall point is like I think he does well in situations where in clubs where there's no super big expectations of winning, and he gets to punch above his weight, right? So basically, it brought Aston Villa back into the Champions League, and they didn't qualify for the Champions League last year. They were in the Europa League, but what did he do? Like
He
the
won
king
it.
of the Europa League that he is, he won the league. So it's giving them a trophy that they've not had in a very long time. It's qualified them again in the Champions League. So I think he deserves his props, and I know Villa will probably do a little bit of investment, and I think with the right signing here and there, I think he's primed to keep them in the top 6, top 7 spots for the next few years, and give them like a good run in the in Europe. I think Unai Emery has found his perfect club for now.
Yeah, I have to agree with you and give props to the king of meat. So, long may he be in his
I mean, he coached
mid
Arsenal,
table.
so yeah.
So still on the Premier League though, let's quickly touch upon West Ham getting relegated and Spurs surviving. Honestly, icks me to see that
Bring me that
Spurs.
Matthews Fernandez, baby.
Well, you can have him if Arsenal let you get him because in terms of being the dominant team in England right now, most players are gonna want to go to the champions. So the champions, man, I
But
really
that's
like
not what
saying that.
happened with Sesko and Gyökeres now, right?
Yeah, because we're wearing the champions, but now we're the
Okay.
champions.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
let's see if you're able to get any players. But if you can get Marcos Fernandez, I think that would be a good addition for you because
Mm-hmm.
I like the way he plays and he has shown signs of being promising. I know we can expect West Ham to lose most of their top players being, going down into the championship.
Exactly.
Someone is definitely going to snap up Jared Bowen.
Mm-hmm.
Christensen, Somerville is obviously going to leave also.
True.
And as you said, Matheus Fernandes. I'm going to throw this to you. What are you saying about Tottenham? They finally escaped relegation on the last day.
I mean, I'm glad that they didn't relegate because I don't think a club like Tottenham should be playing in the Champions League. We need them to be the banter team in the Premier League, right? So I'm happy
Okay,
that they
I'll,
made
I'll
it
take
back.
that.
Yeah, but banter aside, I think the Zebra will have them, stable, relatively stable next season. I see them doing finishing in the top half of the season next season. I think there's a decent squad there. They just need a manager to align with their tactics right now. So I think the Zebra will probably whip them into shape and have them in the top 10 next season. So I'm glad they didn't relegate, but yeah, screw Tottenham for sure.
Okay. Still on talking about banter clubs though. I hear there's a new banter club in town, a new Netflix FC. So I understand there's a big club that hasn't won the Premier League in the last 13 years, going into 14 next season. Is that something you're aware of, my G?
Yeah, I think there's a club that has not won it in I think 13 going on 14. But if I have a word of advice for fans of that club, I would tell them that they should not be weary. They should not, feel dejected. A club went 22 years, and just won it now. So
True.
something, so we can look
Something
up
must
to.
give, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a moving man will meet his luck eventually.
I guess you guys know who the Banter Club is, and if you please, if you know the
These
Banter
anonymous
Club, drop
clubs
it
we are
in the
talking
chat.
about, let's just leave them unnamed, please.
Okay, and speaking about more banter, let's touch on again on our favorite banter club, Chelsea Football Club. So I understand Chelsea have lost five finals in a row at Wembley. I also understand Rhys James has lost four consecutive finals at Wembley. So I have to just say, who's really the bridesmaid? Was it Arteta or was it actually Chelsea hiding in
Yeah,
disguise? What are
well,
you
these
saying?
these dudes win one trophy, right? And they start popping shit up and down. Oh my god.
Everyone's gonna get it, my G.
Oh
Everyone
my
can get it.
god. Enjoy yourself. I mean, you can shoot off, shoot your shot. It's fine. I'll let you pop your shit. It's fine. You won the league. You can have it.
Okay, okay. Still on Chelsea though. They were able to snap up Xabi Alonso,
Yep.
that was quite a surprise. I expected him to end up in Liverpool as a replacement for Anslot, but he ended up as the new Chelsea manager. And also they gave him the job as a manager, not a head coach.
Mm.
So that seems like a change in approach from Chelsea. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think Bluco are going to be giving him more control based on the manager title, or that's just a facade?
I feel eventually it's just a facade, right? Maybe they probably yielded on the title and agreed to give him a little bit of control, right? But I think eventually, overall, from like a high level point of view, they will still be in charge of like their recruitment policies. You probably have a say because I think they maybe want him to build the team in his image or in his style of play for the next few years. So they definitely would listen to his opinion more on the direction they should go for their recruiting, right? But speaking of Xabi Alonso, I think it's a huge gamble, right? He did well in the German league to break the Bayern monopoly on the league by winning the title for Bayer Leverkusen. But we've seen with his first stint at a big club, given Madrid was a huge step, how easy it is for him to, fall into scuffles behind the scenes with players, right? When I say scuffle, I mean how he handles the big egos in the dressing room, right? Given that Chelsea doesn't have that same dynamic, but I'm just
Yep.
saying, right? There's still a lot to be seen from Alonso in terms of how he adapts to the style of play in the Premier League and how he gets his ideas across to the team. Thankfully for them, they have just one game a week this season, something they've done quite well in the past. So give him time to get his methods across, and they don't have a lot of games to throw them off their rhythm. So I think he's coming in at the right time. Expectations are very low. He has time to build and get the team playing in the way that he wants. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll all find out eventually. So speaking about one game a week, Michael Carrick has had one game a week since he joined Manchester United,
Mm-hmm.
and he's done quite a reasonable job. And the indication is that has handed him the full time head coach role at Manchester United.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have to say this is a good appointment for Manu because I only have good things to say in terms of how Michael Carrick has performed in his short stint. And I do have a feeling he's going to be a good option for Manu, but then it's going to be a different challenge because he's going to be dealing with 4 games a week from the beginning of the season in compared to 1 game a week. So I think that's going to test how good of a coach he actually is. And I
Mhm.
guess next season is going to give us a better indication into Michael Carrick's actual level of performance. Anything you want to add to that in terms of Carrick being at the wheel?
Yeah, you're right. The dynamics is definitely different with more games next season, right? But I would
Yeah,
say we should not forget that Michael Carrick was also part of the coaching staff when Ole was around, and
true.
obviously we went through the whole process of playing in the Champions League and competing in the FA Cup and the Carling Cup. When Ole left, I think he managed the game in the Champions League, and he was the caretaker for a game in the Premier League where we drew up. I think we won against Arsenal. So, then also, uh, Carrick also, right? Like speaking about his coaching staff, I think like I alluded to, he has already been part of that whole routine of having to prepare for more than 1 game a week. But the dynamic is different, like you mentioned, when you're the head coach, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's something we're probably gonna have to wait to see how he's gonna navigate through that. But I think it's a decent signing for United, like I've alluded to in our past pause. I think United need that stability for now. You just need someone to just get us stable in terms of league positions and standards when it comes to what is acceptable at the club, right? Then we can push and see if you want to now add title winnings and trophy chasing to the mix. But for now, I think United need a little bit of stability at the top half of the table. Another top three finish. With a decent cup run next season, I think it's going to be considered success for me for Michael Carrick as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with most of those points. Top three for United would definitely be success if you want to look at the recent history. So just as you said, though, I'm just going to touch on a few points. You talked about United looking for stability. I have to agree with that. It's fair to say most clubs at this point are actually looking for stability because Chelsea just have a new manager. So obviously that's going to be a transition, and it will obviously take them time to find a balance to get to
Exactly.
where they want to be. And Slot might actually be a manager in place going through a transition because after going
Mm,
from winning the league, finishing fifth, spending
mm,
500 million, you might have to go again in the transfer market. So there's a lot of
exactly.
expectation going on with Anslot. Then talking about Manchester City, he just brought in a new manager also. So that's in terms of the big 5 clubs right now in England, 2 of them have a new manager, probably 3 because Carrick is really a new manager, even though he had like a
Technically,
short-term
right?
position. Yeah,
True.
so Anslot is the only person that has been in the job for 2 consecutive years. And then we talk about the big boy in the league in terms of Mikel Arteta, who will be going into his 8th, which is the 7th full-time season. I have to say, this is looking like dominance, my G. Because if Arsenal have finally crossed the line thanks to Big Mix, thanks to Super Mix, I have to say, this is looking like trouble for you guys, man. We're not gonna stop here with just 1 league title. It's probably gonna end up with 2, 3 league titles. So the Arsenal dominance is looking like something that could possibly happen. I don't expect us to fall off like Liverpool. But I guess time will tell, and if we end up winning the Champions League, you're gonna see even bigger puffy shoulders from me, my guy. So what are you saying? Do you think it's gonna end up with Arsenal dominating the Premier League, or is this gonna be a fall off similar to what happened with Anslot?
I don't foresee a fall off, but I don't think Arsenal will dominate, right?
Yeah,
But I mean, probably might be my sentiment speaking, but honestly, I
yeah,
don't
hater
see.
cap.
Yeah, I don't see Arsenal falling off and having like a tremendous fall off. But expectations have changed now, right? You guys have gone from the underdog to the team everybody wants to beat, right? So
Yep.
it's a different experience, right? So I just want to say it's not going to be the same feeling this season. You walk into every game next season as the champions, right? The expectations are different, the pressure level is different. So we also will learn a lot more about the Arsenal players, what their mentality is, how resilient they are when now they have to go and set the tone for the league, right? I think that's what we found out with Liverpool and Slot's team. They were not able to do. So let's see if Ateta and his boys can do that next season.
Okay. All right. So to wrap it up, once again, congratulations to Arsenal Football Club. Congrats to Mikel Arteta and the boys and the coaching staff. I think this has been a wonderful touch-up session in terms of our Premier League wrap-up, touching on basically all the teams, what having a chat about. So in other words, thanks for joining the session, guys. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and please follow us on social media platforms. is JR_Skipps on Twitter, JR_Skipps on TikTok, and JR_Skipps_podcast on Instagram. Tap in, my G.